Every city is like a living organism. And just like every organism, there's a beating heart in the middle of it. The City of London gets its rhythm from the one and only Piccadilly Circus. Bright neon lights attract shopaholics, street artists, loud crowds, and of course, tourists. Here's one such group of tourists, patiently waiting for our hero, Matt. Matt is a tour guide, and his destination for today is the Changing of the Guard ceremony, a tour he's done thousands of times, but today is going to be quite a different story.
It is actually being filmed. I'm Matt, and I'm a guide for Fun London Tours.
Matt Gedge is an accredited City of London and City of Westminster tour guide lecturer. He runs a company called Fun London Tours that provides enjoyable guided walks around the British capital. Like a true Londoner, Matt loves a good pint of ale, and like a true gunner, he never misses a chance to cheer for his Arsenal Football Club. You know you're with the right tour guide when other tour guides are asking him what's going on. TripAdvisor review. The smartphone revolution has changed our lives. Now, if we want to know anything about London, we just reach for our electronic companions. So why would someone even need a tour guide?
Interesting question. I think it's pretty obvious, really, because hopefully a tour guide brings a certain kind of personality to the tour, also brings the streets around us to life. I mean, you can see a photograph on the internet, but it doesn't necessarily mean something. But when you actually see it in the flesh, and then someone paints a picture about it, tells you about the history, tells you a few anecdotes, then suddenly it has so much more meaning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Change of the Guard tour. My name is Matt. Are you all excited about seeing the Change of the Guard today? Okay, good. Come with me. Okay, all right, cool.
The United Kingdom is the world's 8th biggest tourist destination, with 32 million yearly visitors. Half of these people choose London as their go-to British city. Tourists invade museums, flock around monuments, or blast through the city streets in multiple tour buses. These buses are very dear to Matt because his first ever London tour happened on one of them.
The very first time I guided, I was working for a bus tour company, actually. And I remember being a little bit apprehensive because you learn a few sort of notes about what you're going to be talking about, but suddenly you're kind of thrown in there and you're having to entertain 50 people on the top of an open-top bus, and I was a little bit nervous.
I have an insatiable appetite and energy for all things to do with London. Matt Gedge.
I'm always trying to find out unusual aspects of London, so unusual stories, some of the more crazy things that have happened in London's history. I like the tours that involve pubs. I also like showing stuff to people from England as well who don't know certain aspects of London. So the Secret London tour, I really like that.
Finding unusual London spots has become Matt's passion. He hosts a show on English Club TV called Spot on the Map, and even has a blog dedicated to places that you won't find in any other London tourist guide, like the locations of every London nose or a hidden pub with centuries-old history.
And so if you look just up here, you'll notice there is actually a nose protruding from the arch. Welcome to the Cockpit. Now, this is a wonderful Victorian pub that's very, very difficult to find. Now, look at this wonderful step. This has been worn down by over 400 years of thirsty customers.
But what about our American friends? We meet the tourists at the Crimean War Memorial, where they're about to discover some interesting facts.
And this memorial you can see in front of you, this is actually a Guards memorial, and it commemorates the nearly 23,000 Guardsmen who'd lost their lives in the Crimean War. Now, the Earl of Cardigan used to wear a warm woolen sweater like this, and when he came back to England, it became very fashionable, and that's why if you ever wear a cardigan, it's named after that guy there.
And here's where the Duke of Wellington used to dismount his horse back in the 19th century.
only memory to the Duke of Wellington's life in Waterloo Place is what I'm standing on right now. And you can actually see this. This is a horse block. This is where the Duke of Wellington from 1830 used to dismount his horse.
Next up is the statue of Prince Frederick, and an opportunity for Matt to show off his singing talent.
Okay, this man at the very top has been described as the least embarrassing child of King George III. We still sing a song about this man, Prince Frederick. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. Hey! So there we go. Thank you very much. I don't think everyone could be a guide, but I think guiding is not necessarily just about facts. It's about having some kind of relationship with the people on your tour, entertaining them. Because I'm sure from what they listen to on a tour, they only remember a certain percentage. So you've got to be quite spontaneous, quite able to adapt to the circumstances around you. And also, yeah, if you have a passion for it as well, I think that really shows when you're a guide.
As a tour guide, I'm always struck by the magnificence of changing the guard. Matt Gedge.
I really enjoy the Changing the Guard tour, just because it's very different each time. It's very active. You can see people when they do the tour, they always have a good time.
Changing the Guard is one of Matt's most favourite tours. He created a special route that helps tourists get the most of this iconic British ceremony. But if you want to see it all, be ready for a wild run.
So if you look right to the end of the Mall, in the distance you can see a police horse with a fluorescent jacket on. There we go. Now we can see the horse guards. Look out for the colour of all the horses. You'll notice that all of the horse guards are riding black horses. They're called Irish Black, and they were chosen originally by King Charles II because they're very intimidating and large. So there we go. I think we need to make a move, though. Great. OK, let's go. The majority of countries where people come from to go on the tour, this is totally unlike anything else. So they've never seen anything like the guard change. They don't have a monarchy in their country. It's still very attractive to see. I remember one particular person on my Changing the Guard tour who was a veteran from Iraq. He was an American guy, and he was actually hospitalized for a couple of years because he suffered terrible injuries in the war in Iraq. And it was basically a dream of his to see the Change of the Guard, and I remember that being quite touching. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be what's known as a wet change, as I mentioned before. So nothing much will be taking place while we're standing here. So, well, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, my God.
Unfortunately, because of rain, we had to lose Matt and his group. Without us, they'd visit Buckingham Palace and take a glimpse at the royal family. We caught up with the group at the Horse Guards parade, sharing smiles and taking pictures with the soaking wet guards who bravely continue to stay their ground. Matt's company didn't lie. That London tour was fun indeed.
We had a fantastic tour today with Matt. It was a little rainy, but he showed us all the secret places to go.
It was fun. It was kind of crazy, but it was fun. I think it was more fun with the improvisation than it was if it just went smoothly. So I still had a great time regardless of the rain.
You see something, you say, oh, what's that? And Matt knows. He could tell you exactly what it is.
Matt loves his job. I mean, a lot of times I know that we had a tour guide a few days ago who seemed really boring, and we met a tour guide today who was really mad, but Matt was he really looked like he enjoyed what he does.
A hard job to be a tour guide?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it. It'd be very hard, yeah. You take a certain amount of personality and a lot of history knowledge.
We had an absolute blast with Matt. And tomorrow he'll wake up and once again be ready to go through rain, snow, and against all other odds to show people the best place in the whole wide world, London. Because this is his labor of love, and we never go away from what we love. Or do we?
I'm very happy doing this. No, I really wouldn't want to do anything else anymore. This is based. I'm very, very fortunate in that I've found this job. You know, I was sort of looking around for a very long time, thinking about what I should do, and then it just came to me. And because, you know, I'd always be learning new things. I'd always be finding out about different aspects of London. I'm my own man. I have my own business. I can't imagine anything better. I really hope that I'm doing tours in my 70s. That's what I really want to do. So today has been quite a crazy day. I'm sure you'll agree. It's been a very unusual change in the guard tour. But I hope you've all had a good time. You've enjoyed the tour anyway, yeah? Yeah. Great, okay.